Question: are there certain projects that it is necessary to continue that may have been left undone in past lives? And the short answer is, of course, that yes, there could very well be. But you have to be careful how you look at this, because you see, let's say, for example, in your last lifetime, you were a scientist you were researching a particular phenomenon. You were trying to discover a new theory about everything, for example, and you didn't finish it. So you go out of embodiment, and now after you have left embodiment, you are meeting with your spiritual teachers, the Ascended Masters, and you are formulating a plan for your next embodiment. What is it you want to achieve in your next lifetime? And in the vast majority of cases, people don't want to continue the physical work that they were engaged in their past lifetime. That's why the vast majority of people don't remember their past lifetimes. So in other words, you don't really have any people who say, I was Albert Einstein in my last lifetime, and now I'm back to continue my work, and I want to start off, so I want you to give me a university professorship so I can start where I left off in my last lifetime and finish this theory. Right? A person like that would probably end up in a mental institution. But what I'm saying is that when you don't remember your last lifetime, there's a reason for that, and that is that you are not meant to continue to be attached to the same physical activities that you did in your last lifetime and that you may not have completed. Because in a sense you could, well, there's two things you could say about it. First is, when could you ever complete something? You would always feel like there was more to do. But in many cases it's also because the real task is for you to grow towards higher states of consciousness so that you eventually can ascend from Earth. And that's why you don't carry with you the memory of your physical activities from a past lifetime, but you carry with you the psychology you had from your past lifetime. And the most important aspect of your continued growth is to resolve that psychology. So that's why I'm saying, yes, there are projects that were not completed in our past lives, and that is necessary to continue. But those projects are not specific outer physical projects. It's the resolution of psychology, our spiritual growth. So, and that's why I've said before, I have two breakthrough videos where I talk about your life plan, that most people have that they have two phases of their life plan. First is the preparatory phase, or the kind of like the work phase, where you want to work through your psychology as much as you can in this lifetime. Because by resolving the psychology, you open up for the possibility you can enter the second phase and bring your gift to life. My life has had two very clear, distinct phases. In 2002, I started doing my spiritual work, publishing websites and books, and everything that happened before that was simply preparation to get me to a point where I could psychologically deal with doing this work. And I've seen many other people do the same, and whether they're spiritual or not, many people are not even spiritual, but they still go through the same thing. They're psychologically being prepared to do some kind of thing. And I'm sure that there are people who, when they have completed this psychological resolution healing phase and they start doing some kind of work in society, they're doing the same kind of work that they did in their last lifetime. They say somebody was a scientist, and they may come into this lifetime, they may have an interest in that field of science, they may decide to study it, but I think in most cases, actually, the advantage, and this is one of the advantages of reincarnation, is that we get a new opportunity. So you could say, take Albert Einstein. I know a little bit about Albert Einstein. I read his biography. I don't think it was me, but he was obviously a brilliant physicist, a brilliant mind. But you can also see that in his later years, he became stuck. He really was stuck in a rut because for the last 20, 30 years of his life, he didn't discover anything new. He was trying frantically to prove quantum mechanics wrong, for example, and come up with a better theory, but didn't get anywhere. And I think the reason for this is that his mind had become fixated on certain things and he couldn't look beyond them. And that's why he couldn't accept quantum physics, for example. So let's say Albert Einstein, I don't know this, but let's say Albert Einstein is now reincarnated and he's still interested in physics. So obviously he can, this live stream can more quickly develop a knowledge and understanding of physics. But by not remembering his past lifetime, by not starting from the same point that he left off at, he has a chance to now look at it from a different perspective, step away from what kept him in a closed box as Albert Einstein, and now maybe he can discover a new theory because he's not starting at the same point and continuing. Because if he started at the same point, he would start with the same mindset. So you see what I'm saying? Obviously, as we have probably all heard, you're no Einstein, but it applies to all of us. I mean, we actually, by not remembering our past lifetime, last lifetime, we get a chance to maybe work in the same field, but to do it from a different perspective, and therefore maybe we can come up with something new that we couldn't have come up with in our past lifetime. And also, of course, the more psychology we resolve before we start that phase of giving out, the better the chances we come up with something new. Because what was it that caused Albert Einstein to get stuck? It was his personal psychology, his unresolved psychology. And if you read his biography, you can see he had very clearly had unresolved psychology. You see that how he treated his wife and children and this and that. So, and how he interacted with other people. So the more we can resolve that, the better we'll be able to do in our the second phase of giving our gift to the world and making a contribution to the world. So to me, the unfinished project is clearly, first of all, psychology. But of course, many people come in with a sense that I need to study a certain topic. I mean, I was very clear that I always wanted to study the big questions of life, really the spiritual questions of life. I just didn't have any way to do it for the first many years of my life, but that was what I always wanted. I wasn't interested in studying, even though I was interested in physics, but it was not really something I wanted to make my life's career, you know. So you see many people who from a young age realize they have to study a certain topic or they have to go into a certain field because, and I'm not saying it has to be science, of course. Basically, the way I look at it is that as we're moving into Saint Germain's golden age, every aspect of society needs to be improved. And therefore, people at any level can make a contribution to bringing Saint Germain's golden age into manifestation, because every aspect of life needs to be improved. And in order to improve some aspect of life, you have to have experience with that field. And whether it's cleaning buildings, or logistics, or distributing goods, or this or that, all kinds of things, you need to have experience with the field, and then you need to be open to receiving new ideas, and the openness comes from the resolution of psychology.